The Marigold brand of composters from Prudent Ecosystems brings you an effective method of converting kitchen waste into high quality organic manure in a clean and neat manner. The Marigold Mini composter is made of steel, making it sturdy and long lasting. The frame is made of mild steel, while the inner vessel, which holds the wet waste, is made of stainless steel. It is mounted on a set of wheels so that it can be moved around easily. The lid is easily removable, and as such, there are no movable parts inside. The design and construction of the composter enables efficient aerobic composting. Let us see how you can use this to convert your kitchen scraps and food waste into rich organic manure. Before we look at how to compost, let us remember the all important step of segregation. Shown here is a common spice container. See how nicely the spices are organized so that they will remain separate and do not get mixed up. Anyone who cooks will tell you that once mixed up, it is almost impossible to separate them or even to use them. As the saying goes, once it is mixed, it cannot be fixed. It is the same with waste too. Waste needs to be segregated so that each component can be processed optimally and only a minimum or nil amount would go to landfills. The correct standardized procedure for waste segregation is the 2-bin 1-bag approach. Wet kitchen waste goes into the green bin, dry recyclable waste goes into the bag, and the rejects go into the red bin. For more information, visit the 2-bin 1-bag website. On an average, a household generates about 1 kg of waste daily. About 80% of household waste is wet waste, that is leftover scraps from kitchen and food waste. This is not only the heaviest part of domestic waste, but it is also the one which is most prone to being a nuisance, like causing foul odor, attracting insects, rodents, etc. This is the waste in the green bin and which can be composted to give organic manure. The next 10% of waste is dry recyclable waste like paper cartons, plastic sachets, glass bottles, metal foil, Tetra packs, etc. These are easily sold to the recycler if the material is kept clean and dry. Finally, the last 10% is called rejects, as these cannot be easily managed by the common man and need to be treated at special facilities. In addition to broken glass, batteries, CFLs, etc., rejects include sanitary waste such as diapers and sanitary napkins. All these are things which need to be handled professionally by the municipal authorities and cannot be managed at home. While disposing it, mark it appropriately. For example, in Bangalore, the BBMP recommends wrapping these in newspaper and marking the pack with a red cross. For composting, we now focus our attention to the contents of the green bin, which contains kitchen scrap and food waste. This can be converted to rich organic manure useful to grow plants and vegetables at home. Composting at home is not difficult to learn and perhaps much easier than cooking or gardening. The waste no longer reaches a dead end but forms a complete cycle from food to compost and back to fresh food. Some items, though biodegradable, are not suitable for composting. These include coconut shells and areca nut plates. Tough garden waste like branches of plants etc. cannot be easily composted. A few tea bags and some tissues used for hand wipes are okay to have as these can be composted. Needless to say, tissues contaminated with any body fluids should not be included and they belong to the rejects category. Take the wet waste in a small tray and with the help of a large pair of garden shears, chop down the waste to about an inch in size. Much like how all animals need to bite food before digestion, the first step in composting is chopping. This can also be done with a kitchen knife or garden scissors. Wet kitchen waste is rich in nitrogen and needs material which is rich in carbon in order to compost. For this purpose, we add dry leaves, the brown ones, chopped fine or ground into powder. If this is not available, you can add coco peat. Add a little less than half by volume of the wet waste. If you add a mugful of wet waste, then add about 1/3 to half of leaf powder or coco peat. Mix this thoroughly so that all surfaces of the wet waste are coated with this powder. After coating the wet waste with coco peat, pour this mix into the composter. In the initial stages, that is when starting with an empty composter, it helps to pile up the waste in the center so that the heat can build up easily. Some people like to first put the waste in the composter and then do the chopping and mixing of coco peat. This is a matter of preference. However, both steps are important, chopping and coating with coco peat. On a daily basis, mix the contents of the composter thoroughly as shown. Move the trowel right to the bottom of the pile. If the mixture has too much moisture and becomes wet and soggy, sprinkle and mix coco peat as shown. On the other hand, if the mixture turns dry, then sprinkle some water and mix as shown. If the mixture doesn't have enough moisture or has too much coco peat, then it will remain brown and not turn black. This is a sign that something is not right. If the coco peat, the moisture and the regular aeration is done correctly, then the mixture should turn black within about 10 days. When you have got the composting right, the contents can be removed and kept aside for curing. It is best kept in an old jute or cotton bag for about a week or two. Thereafter, this can be used as a potting mix or as a soil substitute itself to grow vegetables or ornamentals in a tray or in grow bags as shown. With a little bit of effort from us, we can truly complete the cycle from food to waste and back to food.